Today is just that kind of a day where the number of stocks that will react to news and brokerage notes is just too high. And therefore, you might think that, or should I try trade PI industries because of the results? There is momentum in the commodity pack. Sale numbers have come out with Morgan Stanley is an underweight there. What should I do then? Yeah, there is, of course, numbers that have come in from a lot of other companies as well, which have been slightly ho-hum. So that's the other problem. But because there is so much, we've chosen the two or three names that we think are the most important ones from a trade and from an investment perspective, based on the news flow that has come out. And we get in Rusmik Oza to talk about his thoughts on the three names that we spoke about, which is Axis Bank and Gujarat Gas to start off with. And we'll, of course, start off predominantly with Tata Consumer Products, which I thought came out with a very good set of numbers. Rusmik, very good morning. Thanks so much for taking the time out. Hope all is safe.
Yeah, good morning, Niraj. Everything is fine at my end.
Touch wood.
Thanks.
Okay, great. So, Rasmik, because the markets are likely to start off a bit flattish today, being bottoms up is even more important for the day. Can I ask you for your views on the Tata Consumer results? What did you make of them?
Numbers were extraordinarily good. Because in the India business, the Tata Salt business has done double-digit revenue growth. In the Sampan product, which consists of pulses and carols and spices, I think they've done almost on a low base 70% plus growth. So these are the key two kings. Plus, in the tea business also, April was muted, but I think they've done more than 20% growth in May and June, because of which the tea business volume growth has been 4%, and with another 4% benefit in realization, the revenue growth has been 8%. The international businesses have also done very well. 8 o'clock coffee has done phenomenally well because of the higher consumption of coffee in the US. So all in all, very good set of numbers both on the domestic side as well as at the international side. Both on the standalone as well as in the console, they've seen almost a 400 bips expansion in EBITDA margins also, aided by better mix of their products. Good thing about Tata Consumer is almost more than 90% of its business now comes from branded products, which
Hmm.
is very good. And I think after the reshaping and the merger of the business of consumer business of Tata Chemicals, I think now the focus has been also very sharp and very concentrated. Going forward, also I think the business should do very well. Only the upside could be little limited because the stock has done phenomenally well in the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. So our earlier target was around 385. We need to see post today's update. If we, but most probably we might see some revision in the earnings or the price target of the stock going forward. But this is one company where any dips one should look at buying the stock whenever there is correction in the stock going forward.
Rasmik, a quick follow-up. What are the valuations that it trades at compared to its peers? And would you believe that, I mean, people hold HUL, ITC, etc. for periods of 5, 10 years, etc. This is kind of nascent in that sense, with Chandra's focus now on Tata, on the consumer business. Do you think people who get in could actually look at this stock from a 4, 5, 10-year perspective?
Definitely, yes. I think because now it is very clear that this will be the face of consumer business of the Tata Group. That's one big thing to watch out for. And the way I think we've seen, the reshaping of business of Titan and other group companies, I think similar pattern could be seen in this also. If someone's got a 5-year view, definitely the stock could be a good stock in the portfolio going forward also, because there will be a lot of inorganic acquisitions also possible going forward. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But on valuations, maybe the ROEs of the company are still on the lower side as compared to a typical FMCG company. And in that context, the stock trades almost at par with the peers. So that somewhere the ROEs need to go up for it to actually see any further re-rating. Otherwise, probably from valuation perspective, for the immediate future, there could be a cap in terms of any potential upside in terms of valuation.
Got it. Okay. Thanks for that, Rasmik. Very comprehensive view on Tata Consumer for a short-term trader and for a medium-term and a long-term investor too. The next stock in focus
Yeah.
today, Rasmik, Axis. Thankfully, I'm not asking you to comment on Kotak Bank, but Axis Bank, the QIP. We hear that the The subscription is looking pretty strong. They've launched the QIP. What's your sense?
Uh, Neeraj, it's a good thing because most of the frontline banks are raising money and trying to strengthen the balance sheet. Banks like Axis Bank, and some of the other top leading banks, they've been, last 2 quarters doing a lot of pre-advance provisioning also on account of any potential NPAs that could come post the moratorium gets over. Because we don't have a clue what kind of NPAs can come and hit the banking system after the moratorium ends over there. So this is a good thing. I think 10,000 crore is a very decent amount they're raising. Already the bank is well capitalized. If you look at the current capital adequacy ratio is almost more than 17% with tier one capital ratio of almost more than 13%. But this will help them actually bolster the balance sheet because when after a couple of quarters when the demand comes back, there should not be any constraint in growth if your balance sheet is strengthened, capital adequacy ratio is healthy. It also adds up to the book value also. So to that extent your price to book also goes down, which is a very good thing. And in case of Axis Bank, it trades at one of the lowest valuation as compared to the peers. Maybe at 1.3 times is very 1.3 1.4 times is very cheap for Axis Bank, considering the kind of franchisee it has, plus the leadership now under Amitabh Chaudhary, could be a good positive, strength for the bank in future. On almost all the parameters, we have seen, the bank doing phenomenally well. Like for example, NPLs are at 4-year low. The retail book is actually now contributing meaningfully in the overall loan book, and provisioning coverage is almost 75%. So whatever qualitative parameters or metrics you look at into a bank, I think Axis Bank ticks most of the parameters on the upside. And we have a price target of 600. We're seeing a meaningful more than 40% upside for current levels. Our benchmark for 600 is around 1.9 times March 22 or June 22 book value. But I think the price to book probably could go down further after this QIP issue.
Got it. Okay, so therefore, do watch out for Axis Bank as well. Rasmik, the last stock on our radar, Gujarat Gas. What did you make of the numbers? One of your peers, CLSA, believes that the volume growth from the lows has been very, very strong, and they believe they have raised the volume forecast as well as the earnings forecast, and therefore the target price. What's your sense on Gujarat Gas?
Yeah, Neeraj, Gujarat Gas has been one of our top picks for a long time. We've been positive for the almost last 2 years on the stock. This was no, I think just the results which have come in, like the net profit is down 75%, revenue is down 58%, is a known thing, because in unlike the other gas companies, in case of Gujarat Gas, almost 77% of its volume come from industrial users, another 15% from the CNG business. Now, out of the 77%, also a large chunk comes from Morbi area, which is the entire ceramic belt. And in April, May, June has been definitely very bad for the ceramic players in Morbi. Exports have been down. And April plus a few weeks of May, you had the lockdown impact on the CNG volumes also. But as per the statement of the company, I think now their volumes have gone back to the average levels of FY20, which is good. So Q1 could be an aberration in the company's performance. Going forward, I think you will see again strong set of numbers. The only negative could be that the raw material, which is LNG, spot prices and long term prices have come down, so they'll have to pass it on, because unlike B2C customers, B2B customers are very forthcoming, and they need to pass it on. So realizations could hamper the revenue growth. Margins could still be stable going forward, and profitability FY21, we were earlier anticipating 40% decline. Maybe we could see slightly little higher decline. But if we do a DCA for a forward looking, valuing the company at around 20 times, earlier a price target was around 303. Maybe today, once we revisit the numbers, we'll come to know. But somewhere the price and the target price are somewhere closer as of now. But yes, 2 years down the line, the stock could still give a lot of upside, because the ROC ROE is very healthy. For example, FY22 they should do ROC of around 22%, ROE of around 24%. For these kind of ROEs and the kind of business they are into, I think 20 times is justified for the stock. So short term, maybe upside could be capped. From a 2 year perspective, definitely there's a lot of scope for making money in Gujarat Gas.
Lovely talking to you today, Rasmik. Thanks for that whole balanced view about the short term as well as the importance of the long term view as well. So really appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thanks to all the
Yeah, the pleasure
viewers.
is ours. The pleasure is ours. Thank you so much, Rasmik. Well,
Thanks, Neeraj.
those are a few names, and I think I got some fabulous insights into some of these names as well. So I hope you did too. Happy trading, viewers.